Hello, dear friends. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Erin English. I'm the founder of iClairvoyant.ca. Welcome to our first YouTube video, and it's also going to be our first YouTube series. This will be a 6-part series starting with this video. Today I wanted to start a series of videos about the 5 main psychic categories. Keep in mind that these are broad stroke categories, and while they're fairly simple, there are other categories that branch into many different topics. So there's the 5 main psychic categories, and within those categories, there's many other psychic abilities that we can uncover. So if you've ever wondered if you are psychic or you've wondered how to develop that ability, this is a great first video for you. I'm going to just go through the 5 main categories and then describe in detail some tips for increasing your psychic ability. But for this video, we're just going to go over the 5 main categories first. So maybe you've passed off your psychic experience as nothing at all, and when we define it, you're going to be able to slot it into the right psychic category. I know that when I started researching these psychic categories many years ago, it was really eye-opening and amazing for me to find out, hey, actually I've experienced this. I didn't know what to call it, but now that's why I wanted to share these 5 main categories with you. So let's just get into it. Okay. The 5 main categories are clairvoyance or clear seeing, clairsentience or clear hearing, clairaudience or clear hearing, claircognizance or clear knowing, and clairgustance, which is clear smelling or tasting, which is little known, so we'll get into that a little bit later. You may notice that these 5 psychic categories correspond to our own human senses. So sight, smell, and taste, they're combined into one category, hearing and feeling. And there's also the 6th sense, which is knowing or claircognizant. So each type of psychic ability can be evolved over time. It's my belief that we're all innately designed to accept psychic input. And with a bit of courage, honesty, love, and motivation, we can all learn to use these psychic abilities in our day-to-day lives. So clairvoyance or clear seeing, that's the first one we're going to talk about, and it's probably the most recognized of all psychic categories. I'm not sure if that's because of movies or for whatever reason. It's the one that most people have heard of and understand. So I went online and I was curious to see what the official definition of that was, and the definition that I found is that clairvoyance is the supposed faculty of perceiving things or events in the future or beyond normal sensory contact. Now, that just seems like a mouthful of information, and it's really, really broad. Really, it's just saying that it's a psychic ability, but it's not describing what clairvoyance is. So I'm going to narrow that down quite a bit. Clairvoyance is the ability to see in the mind's eye future events, current events, past events, but the key word here is that you're seeing it in the mind's eye. So you're seeing it like a video or a movie in your mind. And when you learn to harness this clairvoyance, you can see into a person's, you can see events about their life, you can see into the past, you can see many things. So you may be a clairvoyant if you're a daydreamer. I know I've been a daydreamer most of my life. If you've had dreams at night that have come true, that's a sign of clairvoyance, definitely. So we're going to get into this psychic gift in its own video, so be sure to check that out. Okay, next we're going to talk about clairsentience or clear feeling. So people who are clairsentients are also called empaths, and I'm sure that if you've researched this at all, you've probably heard that before. Maybe you are an empath. There are so many types of empaths and so many definitions out there. In my opinion, there's around 7 types, and I'm sure I'm missing many of them, but that's sort of what we're going to look at in future videos of clairsentience. Generally, it's that you're able to connect with other people's feelings and emotions. You're able to understand their emotional mood, and you may even be affected by their moods. You can be impacted by people, animals, places, things that are going on around you. You may not even know that you're being affected. And sometimes some empaths can even suffer from depression, mood swings, that kind of thing. So some clairsentience or empathic types are able to communicate with animals, plants, and even machines. Those are just some of the types. It can encompass telepathic understanding of people's thoughts, or instant knowledge of a person's personality. So you just meet them and you have a really clear sense of who they are as a person. Before developing this ability, many people will associate it with, say, a gut feeling. You hear that a lot. Oh, I had a gut feeling this was going to happen, or a bad feeling, shaking in the body, that kind of thing. And it could even be not liking a person and not understanding why. So you don't know them, but you already know that you don't like them or you don't want to be around them. That's part of the clairsentience sense. It can also happen when you are able to tell when a person is happy, mad, sad, frustrated, even though outwardly they're not showing that they're any of those things. You don't need to have them explain it to you. You just know how they're feeling. So that's sort of the clairsentience, understanding the true intentions of people, feeling those emotions. And it's a very powerful gift that we'll get into in its own video. So the third main psychic category is clairaudience or clear hearing. This is the ability of a person to hear the voice of spirit, a guide, or in your mind, or even out loud. It happens sometimes that you might hear something out loud, but usually it's in your mind, you're hearing words and thoughts and that kind of thing. Audio messages, like I said, they're not always in the form of a voice. For me, I use it with clairvoyance, and so quite often I'm seeing and I'm hearing things at the same time, but sometimes you may just have sort of that audio experience. And also, if you have this, you may have experienced having this song in your head, or a message that's playing over and over again. One time I had a song stuck in my head for about 3 weeks, and it was just one piece of a song and it was playing over and over and over again. That is a type of clairaudience. It's a message that's coming across to you. So if you've had that, you've probably experienced this gift in one way or another. It doesn't have to be hearing the voice of a spirit or hearing the voice of a guide. It can also be memories, be the association of memories to a specific song. So say there is that song, maybe it's not the message, but maybe it's the memory of the song. So again, it can be used to trigger, and we'll look more into the clairaudience in its own video as well. So stay tuned for that. The fourth main psychic category is claircognizance or clear knowing. So it means that you have the ability to know the truth about something without having any influence or interactions with, say, the person. You will just automatically know something. And this can be used without other abilities, but generally it's used with other abilities as well. So you may have a clear idea about something, and you may also receive a image about it in your mind, or some voice or keywords at the same time. There's quite a few varying definitions on what claircognizance is. A lot of people associate it with empath, but here I've categorized it on its own because I think it's used in, it doesn't always have to be used in an empathic way. It can be used, like I said, just on its own, where you just simply know something. And that can also be associated to those gut feelings that people sometimes have. So we'll again have a separate video for claircognizance. So finally, I'm just going to get into clairgustance, which is the clear smelling or taste. And it's probably the least known type of psychic ability, but it's probably the one that most people have experienced before. If you've ever tasted something and had a memory, or smelled something and that brought on memories, those are the types of things that can happen when you have a clairgustance psychic experience. So there's varying definitions out there and explanations, but I do have my own interpretation. It's usually paired with the memory of something. So say if a spirit or somebody is trying to talk to you, you may have a sense of cinnamon in the air, that there's no reason for that smell to be there, but you can smell it. That is a clear sign from spirit, and that would be a psychic phenomenon of clairgustance. And most of the time, like I said, it's used with other things. Some people I've heard will have a taste in their mouth or something like this. Some people have that taste in their mouth and it gives them a message, or it creates that memory that helps them receive a message. That's just the second type. So again, it's smelling and it's tasting. Those are the two main senses. And those are the 5 categories. Be sure to check out the other videos in this series. I'm going to go into detail on each type of psychic category. There will be one for each type of category, or maybe even more for the empath one. Also, be sure to subscribe to the iClairvoyant channel and check out the website at www.iclairvoyant.ca, not .com.ca. I'll be posting new articles weekly or even more often, so be sure to check us out, and thanks for tuning in.